man. Just dropped my phone, guys. I better be more careful next time. Have you ever dropped your phone? Boy, if I break this phone, do you think Google will send me a new one? This is a Google Pixel. Do you think Google will send me a new phone if I break mine? I doubt it, right? Has any phone company ever sent you a new phone for breaking it? What if they sent me a new one? What if Google would say, we're gonna send Mark a new phone because he broke his phone. We're just gonna send him a new one for free. What would that be doing? Well, that would be creating a moral hazard, right? So what does that mean? What does the word moral hazard mean? Or I could say, if Google sent me a new phone, that would create a dangerous precedent. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to teach you two pretty advanced words that you often hear in business or politics. Hey guys, I see a box over here. Maybe it's a new phone for me. Oh, it's not a new phone. Some eggs. What is this? Oh, hey, look at that. Looks like some kids made something out of that. Isn't that kind of cool? Look at that. Anyway, it wasn't a new phone for me, so. But anyway, so let's talk about these two words, moral hazard and dangerous precedent. Okay, so actually, I looked up the definition of moral hazard before I turned on my camera here. I want to read you, let's read this definition from Investopedia. Okay, there's a website called Investopedia. They sometimes, give the definition of some of these business words, investment, finance, political type of words, okay? So it says, moral hazard is a situation in which one party engages in risky behavior or fails to act in good faith because it knows the other party bears the economic consequences of their behavior. Anytime two parties come into an agreement with one another, moral hazard can occur. Okay, well, let me read the second piece here that I found as well on the same website. It says, in economics, the term moral hazard refers to a situation where a party lacks the incentive to guard against a financial risk due to being protected from any potential consequences. Okay, so do you understand that? Guys, there's a dog. Look at that. The dog wants to learn about investing. Okay, so let's break that down so you can understand it. Okay, it's not hard to understand this. It's a very important concept. So a situation in which one party, okay, what's a party? A party is just an advanced word that means a person or some group. Okay, so in the case I dropped my phone, right? I want a new phone from Google, right? I'm one party, Google is another party. Okay, so it's kind of a business type of a term. It's a legal term to refer to who's on this side and who's on that side, right? Okay, so when one party does not act in good faith, right? That's what it said. Let's see what it says. It fails to act in good faith. What does good faith mean? It means, let's say I don't take good care of my phone, right? Let's say Google were to say, Mark, if you break your phone, we will send you a new one for free. And let's say I think, well, if they're going to send me a free phone, then I don't need to be careful I don't need to take good care of this phone because they'll just send me a new one, right? That means I'm not acting in good faith, right? If I was acting in good faith, I would be taking care of my phone. Even if they say, we're going to give you a new phone, I still need to act in good faith, right? Now, let me ask you a question. If your phone company, whoever you bought your, if you have an iPhone or, you know, Google or whatever, Samsung, whatever phone you have, if they told you that they would give you a new phone if you broke your phone, would you take good care of it? Would you take as good care of your phone as if they didn't give you that offer, right? Now, no phone company does this, right? Why? Because they know if they promise to send you a new phone for free, you will not take care of your phone. Hey guys, look at this beautiful spot. Isn't this amazing? How would you like to own a house right here beside the water? There's a nice bridge over there. It's a nice day. It's a very beautiful day here in Alberta, Canada. It's sunny, there's no wind. Look at that bright sun, man. That is bright. It's hard for me to read my screen here. Right, but look what it says. It says, in which one party engages in risky behavior or fails to act in good faith because it knows that Google or Apple or Samsung bears the risk. So I'm going to do risky behavior. I might throw my phone around, right? I might, I don't know, go swimming, put my phone in water. I might do some stupid stuff because I know that I don't have to pay for it. They're going to pay for it, right? This is why companies do not offer free replacements, because it creates a moral hazard, okay? Creates a moral hazard. Now, don't worry too much about what those words mean individually, moral hazard. Just try to understand this concept with both of those words together. Moral hazard, okay? Now, in the second part that I read, it says it refers to a situation where a party lacks the incentive. Okay, what is an incentive? Do you know that word? Well, an incentive means that your effort can be rewarded, right? So, you know, if you go to work, why do you go to work? Because when you go to work, you make money. That's your incentive, right? The money is your incentive, okay? So in this situation, if I drop my phone, like if Google is going to send me a new phone, that means I have no incentive to protect the phone, to take good care of it, right? So this is why communism has failed every time it's been tried around the world, because people don't have any incentive, right? If everybody gets the same amount of money, everybody gets the same income from the government, what's the point in trying, right? You know, if I can sit at home and do nothing and get, let's say, $1,000 a month from the government, or if I try really hard and the government is just going to take my money and redistribute it among everybody, and I still only get $1,000, what's the point? There's no incentive. Okay, so that's a very important word. Okay, and that's why communism has failed every time it's been tried anywhere in the world. It can't work because we as human beings, we want to be able to get ahead in life, right? If one person decides to be lazy and the other person decides to work hard, well, the hard worker should get rewarded and should be richer, right? What are some things that you want in life? You know, some people want free time. and so they work hard to save money so that they can take a nice vacation and get some free time. Some people want nice things, like a nice house. They might work hard to buy a nice house here, or a nice car, you know. Whatever people want, that is their incentive. If they can get it, if they can work for it, that means it's an incentive. So they work hard to try to get it, right? So let's talk about some examples. I think you understand this concept now, right? Let's talk about some examples, okay? Now, you probably know, if you followed the news, that Joe Biden, the president of the US of A, his idea is to forgive everybody's student loans. Okay, so let's say you went to university 10 years ago, or 20 years ago, and you took out a whole pile of student loans. You're deep in debt. So you borrowed money from the government, let's say $100,000 or $200,000, to do a degree in something, right? Now, suddenly, the president of the United States says, we want to cancel your debt. So it's done. Now, what do you think? Is that a good idea or a bad idea? Well, it creates a huge moral hazard, because let's say now here's me in 2023. Let's pretend I'm American. I'm Canadian. Let's pretend I was American, and I'm looking at the US. I'm looking at what Biden is saying to cancel everybody's student debt. Now, if I want to go to school and I'm thinking about getting some student loans to go to school, of course I'll want as many student loans as I can get, right? Because I'll just think, well, the government will probably just cancel all this debt again in the future, right? Why not? They already did it once. They'll do it again, right? So that is a moral hazard. It creates a dangerous precedent. Okay, now I also have a definition for dangerous precedent. You can see it's pretty much the same idea, okay? So a dangerous precedent is an action or a situation or a decision that has already happened and can be used as a reason why similar action or decision should be performed. Okay, so let's think about this, all right? A dangerous precedent. So here in Canada, one of my beefs with the Canadian government, if you have a beef with someone, it means you have an argument with them. They're doing something you don't like, and so you have an issue with them, right? So one of my beefs with the Canadian government is that they're always talking about every different group of Canadians. They're talking about white Canadians, black Canadians, Muslim Canadians, African Canadians, Asian Canadians, all these different words. Whereas my argument is, why don't we just call them Canadians? Why do we have to say black Canadian, Muslim Canadian, Asian Canadian? Why can't we just call them Canadians? Right? That's my beef. Now, what the government loves to do is the government loves to identify groups that are suffering in some way, and they try to give them an advantage. They kind of try to lift them up, right? And it seems like a good idea, right? If someone is struggling, the country should try to lift them up. But the problem with that is, if the government identifies a group and creates a certain program, let's say some group of Canadians is suffering, and the government says, okay, we're going to create a program to give them extra money, extra help to get maybe to start a business in Canada. That's a nice idea, right? But what's going to happen? What's going to happen is that other groups will see that and they'll say, hey, wait a minute, what about me? You have a special group, let's say for Mozambique immigrants, right? Immigrants from, let's say, Mozambique. Then another country, I don't know, what country are you from? Maybe, let's say, Bulgaria or something. People from Bulgaria come to Canada and they say, oh, wait, you're helping the people from Mozambique to start businesses. We also want help to start a business. So the government says, okay, well, let's create another program to help people from Bulgaria. Everybody is going to want to grab a piece of that, right? So it creates a dangerous precedent, a moral hazard. It's a moral hazard because it means that you know, if the government does this, it's going to spread. It's going to happen again and again and again, right? So if the government forgives student loans, it's nice for the people who have their debts forgiven. But now imagine you are applying for university and you're thinking to yourself, why should I have to pay for university when those other people got their debts forgiven? They didn't even have to pay for it, right? As the path is just closed here, guys. What does this sign say? Pathway closed ahead. All right, so let's turn around here, walk this way. Thank you guys for going on this walk and talk with me. I like teaching you guys these things and just showing you some of my home province here, Alberta. I love it. It's a nice day. Usually it's more windy than this, but it's warm and calm. This is a beautiful day to go and talk about advanced English for business and politics. All right, so what are some examples you can think of? Can you think of any examples? Well, I've made a little list here on my phone. Oh, one other example I was going to talk about is child support payments. Okay, have you heard about this before? Because there's two planes. Look at that. One there and one there. They're flying parallel. Okay, it means they're going the same direction. Now, why is that? How are they going parallel? It's because Calgary has two runways. The Calgary airport has two runways that run parallel. Okay, so the planes are probably, I don't know, how far apart would they be? Like 1 kilometer? Probably be like a kilometer apart, maybe more than that. So both the runways they run parallel. Okay, that means two planes can take off and land at the same time, right? So anyway, so child support payments. Okay, here's another example. In Canada, if a man gets a woman pregnant and they have a baby, and the man says, I didn't want this, so I don't want to pay, I don't want to give any money to raising this child. Well, who's going to take care of the baby? How's the baby going to live, right? So here in Canada, if a man is the father of a child, he has to support that child. Okay, that's called child support payments. So it's very common that if in a situation where, let's say, a girlfriend and boyfriend, they break up, but she's pregnant, she has the baby, and he doesn't want to give any money to her, to raise the baby. Maybe he didn't want the baby. So the government forces him to give money to her if she has the majority of the custody. Custody means you have the rights over the child. Okay, so if she has like 80% custody, the kids will mostly be with her. The child will mostly stay with the mother the father has to send money to the mother. That's called child support payments. Now, imagine if the government said, well, we don't like this idea. Let's just get rid of it. Men don't have to pay child support payments for the baby that they created. They don't need to do it. Now, would that be a good idea or a bad idea? Well, that would be a moral hazard, right? Because that would mean, here another, I think it's a helicopter, guys. Yeah, I see a helicopter up there. Anyway, so that would create a moral hazard, because then men might think, well, I can just get women pregnant and not face any consequences. Remember, that's the word in the definition. Consequences. Someone else has to pay for the consequences of my actions. Okay, so this is why governments try to create laws that are fair, right? And it's very important, I think, for governments to create laws that are just fair. Everybody gets treated a certain way. Okay, so I don't like it when our government here in Canada creates a special program for a certain group of Canadians, because it doesn't make it fair for everybody. Rather, the best form of government would be, guys, I just see 3 ducks swimming over here. Look at that. Can you see those ducks? This is so beautiful here, guys. Okay, so the best thing a government can do is just to make things fair for as fair as they can for everybody. Okay, just have one law, one set of tax rules, let's say, one set of things that apply to everybody. That way there's no jealousy, there's no bitterness, and that way when immigrants come to Canada, they know they're going to be treated fairly. They're not going to be treated by some special law, right? So let's say you're coming from Mozambique and you come to Canada. You just want to be treated fairly, right? You want to be treated like everybody else. Why should there be a special law for this person and that person? It doesn't make any sense, right? Look at that nice Canadian flag there, guys. So that's why Canada is such a popular country for immigration, because Canada has done a good job in the past about this. That if people know that if they come to Canada, they're going to be treated fairly. Our laws are not discriminatory, right? You're not going to get discriminated against if you're like black, if you're Muslim, if you are, you know, a Buddhist, you're someone else, whoever you are, whatever group you're part of. You're not going to get treated like a lower class citizen, right? You're going to get treated really well, and that's a good thing, right? It's good if a country can just be fair as best as they can with everybody. It's hard. It must be hard being a leader of a country. Man, that would be a very, very hard job. So anyway, though, guys, those are some examples of a moral hazard. With this term, moral hazard. Okay, so governments, they often do stuff that creates moral hazard. Oh, an example I was going to mention, a good example of this, okay? A few years ago, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, when Donald Trump was the president of the US, something bad happened in California. There were some bad people that did some bad stuff. I can't remember exactly what the thing was, but the police or the FBI, they got the bad person's cell phone, and they thought, if we can get into this phone, then we'll be able to kind of find out who this person was dealing with, and we'll be able to uncover maybe a huge crime, sort of a ring or something, right? Guys, let's just walk across this bridge here. My throat is parched. I should have brought some water with me on my walk. If your throat is parched, that means it's very dry and you need some water. All right, so the idea was that if they could get inside this person's locked phone, the phone was locked, they wanted to get into it to gain information so that they could catch other bad people. Now, this phone was an iPhone, okay? Now, Donald Trump, he was telling Apple, give us this code, help us to get inside this iPhone, remember? And then Apple said no. Apple said, we're not going to help you. And Donald Trump said, well, he started telling everybody, boycott Apple. Boycott, that means don't buy their products, right? Don't do business with Apple anymore, because Apple dog wants to get in on this video. And the dog wants to be teaching Doglish, not English. This channel is for English, not Doglish, right? So Donald Trump said, boycott Apple. Anybody with half a brain, even unintelligent people, can figure this out, okay? If Apple were to give the US government access to this person's phone, that would set a very dangerous precedent, right? That's a bad idea. Anybody who cared about privacy, you know, and personal freedom and rights and stuff, anybody who cared about those things said, Donald Trump, are you an idiot? What are you doing? Right? Because people care about their privacy. Look at that, guys. There's a nice house there. Nice little dog. So, you know, when you think about on a basic level, you think, oh, it would be a good idea if the US government could get this information so that they could catch all the bad guys, right? It's great. Apple should give them the password or give them, you know, help to get into this person's phone. But when you start to think about it a little bit, you realize why that would be a bad idea. It would be bad because then the government can just say anything they want and get Apple to help them again, right? Give them more help and more help. So the government could just say, you know, oh, that person was bad, we need to get into their phone. And if Apple does it once, then it'll be easier and easier to do it again and again and again, right? And that's what the word precedent means. It's like a level, like a line. If we cross that line, it's going to be easier to do that in the future. It's going to be harder and harder to say no. It's easier to just say no at the beginning, say, no, we're never going to do this. And that's a good decision, right? For companies like Apple, who claim to care about their privacy, your privacy, right? They need to just have one policy, and that is we will never help any governments ever get into your phone. That's a good policy. That's the best policy. Now, who knows what happens behind the scenes? Like, maybe Apple does give the US government information. Maybe Google gives the government it. Who knows, guy? I'm not an expert on these things. But if, you know, it's just we're thinking hypothetically here, right? If Apple were to give that information from that bad guy's phone one time, it would create a dangerous precedent. right? Because Apple could say, well, okay, we'll give you information, but just once. This just once. It's not going to happen again. Not going to happen again. But everybody with half a brain knows that when something happens once, it happens more easily the next times, right? So guys, that's what moral hazard means. That's what creating a dangerous precedent means, okay? So let me know your examples, guys. Let me just pull up my phone, see if I have any other. I talked about student loans, talked about child support payments, right? The word hazard means dangerous. Okay, if you have let's see if I can, sometimes there's like if there's electricity, right? There's some sort of a box, electrical box or something. It might say on there hazard. That means it's dangerous. Okay, so both those phrases have the word like dangerous in them, right? Moral hazard, dangerous precedent. Okay, so just remember those words. If you listen to like financial podcasts or anything about business, if you're reading about politics or business investments, this type of thing, then you could then you'll probably see these terms. Okay, moral hazard and dangerous precedent. Guys, I just see a box up here. I think it's some electrical box. Let's check it out to see if it has the word hazard. It might have the word hazard. What do you think? I don't know. Maybe it just says danger. Yeah, look at that. Here it says, guys, danger. Okay, call before you dig. Okay, so it doesn't have the word hazard, but sometimes these types of things have the word hazard on them. Okay, or actually here's another example. Let's say there's a bird hiding in this bush, guys. Let's walk down this path here, guys. Let's say a judge awards some payment to another party. Let's say like let me think of an example. Let's say I know I've always heard this example that somebody went to McDonald's, they ordered a coffee, and they spilled the coffee on themselves, and then they sued McDonald's because they said, I didn't know the coffee was hot. I burned myself. All right, and so then McDonald's had to start printing on their cups, caution, hot. Well, look, if you're a judge and you give that person the victory in this case, McDonald's, you're wrong. You have to give this person $2 million. Loud UPS truck there. Okay, let's say the judge says to McDonald's, you have to give that person $2 million. So the judge awards the idiot for spilling coffee on themselves $2 million. The judge awards that settlement, right, to the idiot. That creates a dangerous precedent, because that means everybody is going to be trying to do stupid things to get money from companies, right? And that's called liability. Okay, if a company has a risk of getting sued, right, that's called liability. And this is why businesses like restaurants and stuff, this is what they're so afraid of. They're afraid of the liability because they don't know. Let's imagine you're McDonald's, right? You're just trying your best to make money and some idiot does something. How can you prepare for that? So companies try so hard, they spend so much money trying to like limit their liability, because they don't want to have to suddenly send out millions of dollars to stupid people who just come and, hey, we have an idea, let's spill some coffee on ourselves and go, and you know, this is dumb. People do this. There's stupid people in the world who try to take advantage of other people, right? Now, this is why insurance comes in, right? So at the beginning of the video, I dropped my phone and I asked, is Google going to replace my phone? Well, you know, when you buy products, sometimes there's an option that you can add protection for a certain fee, right? Like if you buy an iPhone, you can have they'll give you a choice to purchase Apple Care Plus, or whatever it's called, Apple Care Plus or something. That means you give Apple some money, maybe $100 or $200, and they will insure your phone. Okay, so if you drop your phone or if you break it somehow, they will send you a new one, or they'll replace it, or they'll help you somehow. So Apple has decided that $200 that they're going to charge you, or whatever the amount is, that is worth it to them, because it's like the point where people will try to be careful and they're going to take personal responsibility to like not drop their phone. But in the cases where, you know, accidents happen, right, then Apple's decided that amount is going to be worth it for them to replace your phone. Okay, so that's called insurance, right? When you buy insurance, you're giving your money. It's not free. There's no such thing as free insurance. You have to buy it to protect you and your products, maybe your car, your house. You have to protect yourself from the possibility of risk, right? And so the risk needs to be, the risk can't all be on the side of the person who's building the product, right? Because that's not fair. It creates a moral hazard, right? That's why companies like Apple, they will sell you for a certain price the ability to be kind of a little bit careless. But if you are acting in good faith, then you should still try to take care of your iPhone, right? If you don't try to take care of it, then guys, I need some water. If you don't try to take care of it, then you are not acting in good faith. All right, so anyway there, guys, that's all I wanted to talk about. These cars are kind of loud here. I took a wrong path, guys. So anyway, hope you guys learned those words, those two words. Again, they're very similar, right? Moral hazard and dangerous precedent. So let me know your examples. You know, there are many examples a person could give, right, about this stuff. So what are some of your examples? Let me know down there in the comments. Hope you guys are having a great day, guys. You know, it's a beautiful day here, and wish I could send you some good weather from here in Alberta, Canada. But hope you guys are staying safe and healthy. And as always, I love you so much. And also, as always, I'll see you over in the next episode of Mad English TV. Take care.